Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this opportunity, I would like to deliver my presentation about a conclusion from the book that I have read. There are 5 chapters. The first of all, chapter 1, Philosophy in Brief, presented by me, Nurul, Fauziah. Next. Before this one, I'm going to explain about the philosophy in brief. Philosophy in brief is one way of determining the most reasonable answer to the fundamental question of life. And that the aim of philosophy is to make a desire and to self-reflection. The next is the history of philosophy. The history of philosophy are divided into 4. The first one is the ancient period, the medieval philosophy, and the modern philosophy, and the last is the contemporary philosophy. The ancient period are divided into the pre-Socratic era, the Sophist and the Socrates, and the last one is the post-Aristotelian ancient philosophy. The first one, talking about the pre-Socratic era, in this era, the philosophers were known as natural philosophers because their main interest is to find out the nature of the universe, and their main concern is to find out the nature of reality, or in short, they are talking about the metaphysics. And in this era, this philosopher focused on everything came from the single entirety. Next is the Sophists and Socrates. If talking about the pre-Socratic era, they are focused on the relation of something come from the nature, while in Sophist and Socrates era, they are focused on the study of man. So they changed their mindset not to focus on nature, but focus on the study of man. And in this era is divided into 3 philosophers' era. The first one is Socratic era, the second is Plato, and the last is Aristotle. Talking about Socrates, he argues that philosophy in this era has the most important thing. The most important thing of philosophy is the main purpose of life and how to live happily. And second is Plato. According to Plato, the notion of imperfectionness cannot be obtained because they are not real entirely. Everything only is simply replicas, according to Plato. So there isn't any real, and everything is replicas. While according to Aristotle, in this era, Aristotle has a dispute with Plato. They don't have a disagreement about the art, but it is deeper. So they are arguing about something related to metaphysics. And then the next is the post-Aristotelian ancient philosophy. In the post-Aristotelian philosophy, it is divided into 3 communities. The first one, the Epicureans, the second is the Stoics, and the last is the Skeptic. But actually there's one more, it is Plotinus. Epicureans. According to Epicureans, they are focused that the purpose of philosophy is as a medicine of soul. So it is as a medicine of soul. And then Epicureans argue that the aim of human being is to get a pleasure. So the purpose of life only for getting a pleasure. While the next one talking about the Stoic. Actually, the Stoic also aims to happiness, but unlike the Epicurean, they are focused on sought happiness through wisdom. So they also use their wisdom in order to get happiness. They are not only focused on everything can be used to find out the happiness. They are also use the wisdom to seek it. The next is the Skeptics. According to Skeptics, everything is relative. There isn't any truth or falsity in this life. And according to Plotinus, they are combined between the reality theories with the religious doctrine. Okay. So the second one is the medieval philosophy. According to the medieval philosophy, in this era, it is partly defined by to address the theological problems and to integrate the sacred doctrine with the secular problem. So they are focused on how to integrate the sacred doctrine with secular problems. And the modern philosophy. According to the modern philosophy in this era centers on the relation about experience and reality, about the ultimate notion of knowledge and about the nature of mind. While about the contemporary philosophy, in this era, the philosophy is become more specific on the natural science. So they are focused more about the natural science. Okay. Next one more. Okay, so after I explain about the history of philosophy and the meaning of the philosophy in brief, let's go to the major areas of philosophy. It is divided into three areas. The first one, metaphysics. Second one is epistemology, and the last one is ethics. Talking about metaphysics. Metaphysics is the most general, ultimate characteristic talking about existence. So, metaphysics is the place of human where it is focused on the nature of universe, the existence of gods, and then about the nature in reality. While epistemology is a study of knowledge, so everything related to knowledge. Someone's opinion an opinion only cannot be believed without to be proved. So they focus on they are focused on their knowledge. Yes. The last one is ethics. Ethics, also known as moral philosophy. In this era, they are argue that if someone's activity according to two virtues, they will get happiness. So if you want to get happiness, we have to accordance between one activity to two virtues. Next. Chapter 2, Theory of Knowledge. The requirement for knowledge. The first one, requirement for knowledge, are divided into three. It is the belief condition, the truth condition, and the justification condition. Oh no, before. Okay. The belief condition. Belief condition. We can believe a lot of statements more than we do some others. Belief can be translated into a difficult information that can make us to the conscious situation, but it is not all the time. And then why can I say that this is one of the requirements for knowledge? Because we can admit something is knowledge if we believe on it. So without belief, we cannot admit something is knowledge. So this one, it is very necessary to make a knowledge. And the second one is the truth condition. As what I said before, someone's statement cannot be said as knowledge if it cannot be proved. So we can say that something is knowledge if we believe on it, and after that we can prove that it is true. So believe first, after that we can prove it is true. And the last one is the justification condition. Justification condition have a good reason. So we can say that if someone argue about our problem, we can make a good reason about the reason. I mean that if someone questions about our statement, after we believe on it, we prove it is true, we have to make a justification. So no one can doubt about our knowledge. Next. The next is the origin of knowledge. The origin of knowledge are divided into three parts: skepticism, empiricism, and rationalism. Skepticism. Skepticism in this knowledge, skepticism, they are a doubter. They doubt about everything related to the world in this era. They don't believe on anything. So they only focus on doubt to everything in this life. Not except that, including philosophy. They are also doubt with philosophy. And empiricism. Empiricism emphasizes experience as the best source of knowledge. So experience as the fundamental source of knowledge. So everything in this life related to experience. Experience we can call experience as the best source of knowledge. And the last is rationalism. Rationalism argue that knowledge came from common sense, and then everyone is a rationalist. So the knowledge came from the common sense, and then the reasoning, a good reasoning. And rationalism divided into reasons of the best knowledge, rationalism as held by Plato, and contemporary rationalism. Next. Chapter 3. Some basic notions about science. Now we are going to go to chapter 3. On chapter 3, the first one, I'm going to talk about knowledge claims. Knowledge claims are divided into positivism, constructivism, efficacy or participatory knowledge claim, and then the pragmatic theory of truth. Positivism. According to positivism, there isn't any absolute truth in this life. Everything is relative. So they don't believe in something which is a fact. They think that there isn't any absolute truth. So everything depends on someone's mindset. While constructivism, according to constructivism, Someone seeks understanding of the world through in which they work or live. So people learn about everything in this life based on where they are and where they come from, where are their their behavior. Now next, advocacy or participatory knowledge claim. In advocacy or participatory knowledge claim, there are some characteristics of knowledge claim, such as participatory action is recursive. So it is focused on how to help people. And then in this knowledge claim, if we want to use this knowledge claim, we have to do it as well as we can. For example, when we are going to check about the beggar situation. So we have to be a beggar, and then after we be a beggar, we have to give a good impact for our society. The next is the pragmatic knowledge claim. According to pragmatic knowledge claim, that the most important thing is the problem, not the method. All approaches can be done to solve or understand the problem. Next. The next one, I'm going to explain about scientific method. Talking about scientific method, it is divided into three methods. The first one is inductive reasoning, the second one is deductive reasoning, and the last one is hypothetical method and falsifiability. Inductive reasoning. What it means by inductive reasoning, it's a method that from the general one to the specific one. So we can make a conclusion by having a lot of observation. For example, we have to make as many as possible the observation, that's general. After we do a lot of observation about cat, for example, we can make a conclusion that from a lot of data, we have to make it into one conclusion. That's what we call as inductive reasoning. While deductive reasoning is a thinking process from the specific one to the general one by using the prescribed rules or logic. We can say that in deductive reasoning, for example, Eva said that Dina is beautiful. She is a girl, so the conclusion is Dina, a woman, is beautiful. That's what we call as deductive reasoning. And the last one is hypothetical method and falsifiability. Hypothetical or making hypothesis is very important in scientific method. Why? Because before we have to do more about our discovery, we have to make a hypothesis. And our hypothesis must be well examined, and it has the lowest risk to be rejected. So no one can doubt about our hypothesis or method. Scientists' attitude and the assumption they made. Scientists' attitude and the assumption they made. First, the scientist assumes that the process or stages go through by every object or every event are lawful. So they believe that everything are lawful, which has been done by the people or event. And the attitude. There are some attitude which must be done by the scientists. The first one, they are maintained highly skeptical toward the data of science. So they have to skeptic through all the data. They may not believe on it directly before they check the truth or the falsity. And then the second one, it is the scientist must be objective and impartial. The third one, scientists deals with values, not facts. So they believe is based on the fact, not only values. And the next one is the scientists that don't like about something or isolated facts. They don't like these isolated facts. That's the attitude of scientists. Now, scientific truth. Scientific truth are divided into three: the instrumentalist view, the realist view, and the conceptual relativist view. Talking about the instrumentalist view. According to the instrumentalist view, the purpose of scientific theory is to make a prediction. So the focus is only how to make a prediction. Only to make a prediction. And according to the realist view, that we can argue that the purpose of scientific theory are literally true or false, so based on the truth or the falsity. And the next is the conceptual relativist view. In conceptual relativist view, that something that we can say in science is true if it coheres with the overall network of scientific if it coheres with all the overall of scientific theories. So, if all of the statements or statements that coheres with the scientific theory, we can believe that it is a truth. Next, the scientific theory and the characteristic of theory. What I said before that, the scientific theory has a purpose that it is to explain about the phenomena and to make predictions. So the purpose of scientific theory is to make a prediction and to explain about the phenomena which has happened in this era. And then characteristics of theories. The characteristics of theories, the first one is explain the observed fact. Explain the observed fact relating to the particular problem. And the second one is must be consistent with the observed fact. And the third one must provide means. And the last is it must give the new stimulant of the new discoveries and indicate further discoveries. Next. Chapter 4, Scientific Development. Scientific development are divided into coherent scientific, pseudoscience, epistemological anarchism, and then science as a social institution. Coherent scientific revolutions are focused on the paradigm period, normal period, anomaly period, crisis period, and revolution period. And then it is focused on the discovery of communities. And the second one is pseudoscience. Pseudoscience actually is a field that lower than science, or put it another way, it is not scientific. And the third one is epistemological anarchism. Talking about epistemological anarchism, the purpose is as an enterprise, both rational and progressive, is deeply held. And the last is science as social institution. Science as social institution is activity or stages that is organized into such a role, like science students, research scientists, or scientist lecturer. Next. Chapter 5, History of Science. History of science are divided into two. The first one is metaphysical science and then rational science. Metaphysical science is also called as ancient science. What it means by metaphysical science is a science which is unscientific, and it is what we call it is not unscientific. So it is because it's the new discovery, so it is irrational and unscientific. The second one is rational science. If the first one is irrational science, the second discovery we have rational science. Rational science are divided into four parts. The first one is science in early cultures, science in the Middle Ages, early modern science, and modern and contemporary science. Science in early cultures. Science in early cultures, it is the ancient civilization made some progress in this era. They give more progress in mathematics, physics, astronomy, and medicine. While in science, as in the Middle Ages, talking about Middle Ages, it is the golden era of science and Arabic scientists or Islamic scientists. So, Islamic scientists faced their golden era in the Middle Ages of science, and then lasted until 14th century. And the third one is early modern science. Early modern science, it is there is a great era of unequals. I mean that in this era, the science also have a development, especially in Protestant development and Catholic development. So they also focused on the science and also about astronomy. And last is modern and contemporary science. Talking about modern and contemporary science, in this era, science has developed. Science has faced their amazing development. So everything has been developed well by all of the scientists in the